Glenview Heights was a picture-perfect suburb, or so it seemed. The neighborhood thrived on trust, with barbecues on weekends and children playing freely in the streets. Among the familiar faces was Greg Thompson, a quiet, helpful neighbor. Known for his kindness, Greg lived alone in a modest home and was always ready to lend a hand, earning everyone's trust. Glenview Heights was a picture-perfect suburb, or so it seemed. The neighborhood thrived on trust, with barbecues on weekends and children playing freely in the streets. Among the familiar faces was Greg Thompson, a quiet, helpful neighbor. Known for his kindness, Greg lived alone in a modest home and was always ready to lend a hand, earning everyone's trust. Yet, Greg's home stood out for its peculiar stillness. While neighbors kept curtains open and welcomed natural light, Greg's windows were always tightly shut. His well-manicured lawn suggested meticulous care, but inside, the house was a fortress of privacy. Though some joked about his reclusive habits, no one suspected the darkness he was hiding. The suburb's calm was shattered in 2016 when Megan Peters vanished. A 22-year-old college student, Megan disappeared after leaving her diner shift late one night. Her car was found abandoned on a rural road, but there was no trace of her. The disappearance shook Glenview Heights, turning every smiling neighbor into a potential suspect. For years, Megan's family searched tirelessly for answers. Flyers bearing her face hung in shop windows, and telephone poles long after her disappearance. Candlelight vigils drew crowds, but as time passed, hope faded. Residents couldn't forget the unease that lingered, but no one considered the quiet man who lived just a few doors down. In 2020, construction workers unearthed a horrifying clue. While digging on the outskirts of town, they uncovered a shallow grave. Forensic tests confirmed it was Megan Peters, bringing heartbreak to her family and reopening wounds for the town. The discovery reignited the investigation and ended years of speculation about what had happened to Megan. Police began re-examining evidence from Megan's case. Surveillance footage from the diner where she worked revealed a dark sedan parked nearby on the night she disappeared. It was the same make and model as Greg Thompson's car. Though circumstantial, the evidence was enough for detectives to secure a warrant to search Greg's home. The search exposed a nightmare hidden in plain sight. In Greg's basement, police found personal items belonging to Megan and several other missing women. Disturbingly, journals detailed his predatory acts, chronicling years of deceit and cruelty. Greg, the helpful neighbor everyone trusted, was revealed as a calculated and dangerous killer. Greg's arrest shocked the entire neighborhood. The man who waved to children and fixed broken fences was now unmasked as a monster. Neighbors felt betrayed, struggling to reconcile the kind man they thought they knew with the horrors he had committed. Interviews revealed disbelief. How could someone so ordinary do something so evil? As details emerged, neighbors began recalling strange behaviors. One resident remembered hearing late-night noises from Greg's house, but brushed it off. Others spoke of his avoidance of personal questions and his secretive nature. These moments, insignificant at the time, painted a chilling picture of a man who had meticulously hidden his true self. Greg's trial became a media sensation, drawing national attention. Dubbed the killer next door, his calm and collected demeanor in court unnerved many. Prosecutors revealed a disturbing timeline of his crimes, backed by DNA evidence and chilling journal entries. The courtroom was silent as survivors recounted their terrifying encounters with Greg. The evidence against Greg was overwhelming and damning. DNA linked him to Megan Peters and 3 other cold cases. In addition to trophies found in his home, investigators unearthed more physical evidence tying him to the victims. His journals detailed his methods, showing a calculated predator who exploited his neighbor's trust to avoid suspicion. Survivors' testimonies painted a chilling picture of Greg's methods. One young woman shared how he stalked her, leaving threatening notes and watching her from a distance. She narrowly escaped his grasp, a fact she described as pure luck. Her story, along with others, highlighted his meticulous planning and his twisted need for control over his victims. In 2022, Greg was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The verdict brought a measure of relief to Megan's family and the other victims' loved ones. But for Glenview Heights, the damage was done. Trust among neighbors had eroded, replaced by fear and suspicion. The idea that such evil could hide in plain sight haunted the community. The story of Greg Thompson became a cautionary tale. Residents reflected on how easily they had dismissed small, strange behaviors, seeing them as quirks instead of red flags. Psychologists analyzing Greg's case emphasized how predators like him manipulate trust, blending in perfectly while harboring their dark secrets just beneath the surface. Even today, Greg's former home remains unoccupied. Its dark history casts a shadow over the neighborhood, with some avoiding the street altogether. Others believe it's cursed, haunted by the memories of Greg's victims. The once welcoming house has become a grim reminder of the horrors it concealed for so many years. Megan Peters' family continues to keep her memory alive. They've established a scholarship in her name, helping young women pursue education in criminal justice. At annual vigils, they remind others to stay vigilant and to advocate for missing persons, ensuring Megan's story is one of legacy and awareness, not just tragedy. Law enforcement learned valuable lessons from Greg's case. Departments across the state re-examined cold cases, applying new forensic techniques and reviewing evidence with fresh eyes. Greg's crimes underscored the importance of thorough investigations, particularly in cases where seemingly ordinary people become suspects. The case of the killer next door is a stark reminder of reality. True evil doesn't always wear a mask or hide in shadows. Sometimes it's the friendly wave, the helping hand, or the unassuming neighbor. The tragedy left Glenview Heights wary, its once tight-knit community forever changed by the betrayal of trust. If this story sent shivers down your spine, like and subscribe for more chilling tales. Share your thoughts in the comments. Did the neighbors miss the signs? Or was Greg too good at hiding his crimes? Check out our infamous Crimes and Criminal Profiles playlist for more stories that reveal the darkest corners of humanity.